I think this movie's fantastic, but I would like to get some more of your thoughts before I go into mine.
Well, I really like this movie. I mean, I agree with you. I think it's fantastic. And this is a movie, I want to call it perfect, even though it does have like a few minor flaws. But to me, this is kind of like a perfect movie where everything looks great. Even the majority of the miniatures looks great. And you
Yep.
can kind of cut it some slack because it was made in 1954.
And
But,
nobody, at least in Japan, had done anything that elaborate with miniatures before in film.
yeah. Yeah, so I mean, like, with the monster suit, amazing. It looks amazing. And the movement on it, like the mouth movements and then the actor in the suit, pretty great. When it comes out of the water, it's great. The suit is shot well. Like, again, all the miniatures are great. Oh, the noise Godzilla makes in both
Oh, yeah.
his footsteps
That's
and
a
his
huge part of
metallic
it.
roar. And then, like some of the scenes, like, again, that jet fight I loved. And I even loved, it looked great, but it was even a little goofy because in, like, a wide shot where you see rockets flying around Godzilla, you can actually see the the little fireworks hitting the far end of, like, the soundstage wall and dropping into the water. And, like, but even that, I loved it. I loved it all. Oh, and then the score, too. That great Godzilla
Yeah.
score that was ramped up at big exciting action moments. And then the score at the end of the movie when you were kind of ramping up to this major self-sacrifice. It was all just amazing. I just loved it. Everything combined to create this extremely exciting and emotional movie.
As for the sort of the technical flaws or the problems with the special effects, I mentioned last episode with It, the Terror from Beyond the Space, I said something like, if you see one string in a 50s sci-fi movie, you're not doing too bad.
Yeah.
I saw one string here, maybe more, but there's one when they show, it's actually a really neat scene. It's from the inside of a building. They show Godzilla's tail on the outside. You know, you see it through the window and it kind of swipes along the building and then the roof collapses. Very clearly see the string on the tail there. There might have also been strings on the planes. I don't remember.
Yeah, I saw one or two strings because they were like close-ups of these rockets under the planes, under the jets, and
Okay.
you could
Oh,
just kind
yeah,
of see a
yeah,
string.
that's where I saw him, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to complain too much. It's the 50s. It's not a low-budget movie. This is a huge budget for Japan, but it's a kind of filmmaking that no one had done in Japan yet. The big inspiration for this movie, other than current events, which we talked about a bit, biggest cinematic inspiration for this would be King Kong from 1933. And that movie, obviously, the effects are stop motion. And apparently, early on, they wanted to make Godzilla in stop motion, but literally no one in the entire country was skilled enough to pull that off. And they said that it might take like something like 8 or 9 years to make. And then someone at Toho was like, 8 or 9 years, we can release 12 Godzilla movies in that time. So they went ahead with the costume. And I think the costume becomes a lot schlockier in other movies, and that's where a lot of the enjoyment of those movies comes from, and just kind of how stupid they are. But as far as this movie, you know, aiming for a serious thing, they do it pretty well with the costume and with the miniatures.
Yeah, the only time to me that the costume looked funny was in the first shot that we see Godzilla over the top of that hill in the daylight.
Yeah, and that's not even really the costume. That's a matter of
Just scene composition.
compositing the image, an effects image with actual people. Like
Yeah.
it's an issue of composition, not so much the effect or the costume. Because it looks almost like a little like see-through or something. It looks like it's like a different grain than the rest of the rest
It
of
looks
the film.
hazy. Hazy
Yeah,
is how I
exactly.
would describe it, yeah. Godzilla, too, and again, it really shows the human aspect and the governmental
Absolutely.
aspect of this crisis. Well, like, they're treating it like a natural disaster, which is really neat.
Even just in that scene when Yamani's trying to get by the military guy that's like trying to barricade these panicking people. I like even how that's done. But as far as the human aspect goes, I mean, Godzilla as a series is not known for its human characters, of course. It's known for its monsters. But you've got 4 central characters here. At least 3 of them are really, really good. Or two of them, maybe. Ogata's all right. I just like Ogata because he's got freaking amazing hair.
I was going to say the exact same thing.
He's got great hair. He's got a great mane.
Oh, yeah.
But Sarazawa's awesome. Yamani's good. Like I mentioned, one of the rare instances of somebody insisting that we study something rather than kill it, being motivated by something and actually making sense. And then Serizawa, even though he's frustrating, his point of view is made incredibly clear, and he's the conscience of this movie, but at the same time, he's also kind of an antagonist because he could be helping, but he's not, even though it's clear why he isn't helping.
Yeah.
I think Emiko could be a little bit better written. I think you mentioned earlier she's just kind of the woman, and yeah, she is, but she has that nice little scene in that kind of the makeshift hospital. I like that. That's really the only scene that kind of gives her character anything, though.
But, it also, like, her lack of a character does, well, first off, there's a lack of a character, but there also isn't really that much of a lack of a character, and it doesn't actually really detract from the movie at all, because the movie is so fast-paced that what you're learning about characters is all you really need to know about that character to continue on.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, this is not a movie that gets bogged down in any kind of comic relief or even excessive exposition. The story keeps moving. We get the exposition delivered in a timely manner, and then the exposition transitions to governmental issues and stuff where, because that big exposition scene then becomes a debate about, do we release this info to the public or to the press and thus the public? Yeah, I think it's an efficiently told story. It's got pretty good human characters, at least a few of them. And I mean, it's got, it's classic ethical dilemma with Serizawa. Great stuff.
Yeah, I agree.